So we will start with the AlpBioEco project, please.
Hello.
Dorian.
So now I can share my screen. Okay.
Excellent.
Can you see it?
It's building up. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, now I try to switch to the presentation mode. It's loading.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the right mode?
Yeah. Now it's there.
It's not the presentator's screen. It's
no,
the right
it's
mode.
all right. No, it's all right.
All right. Okay. So thank you for having me. I try to keep it short. I want to tell you something about the AlpLink bioeco project. So I repeat, AlpLink bioeco project, you heard right, with a link in it. So I'll jump right into it. First of all, something about the structure of the project. We were looking for bio-based value chains in the Alpine Space, and not with not that particular scope narrowed down as you have in your project, but with a way more open scope on agro products as a whole, and on products derived from forestry, as well on chemistry value chains, and also on packaging, bio-based packaging, especially for food and pharmaceutical products. So that's the overall scope. We started with doing some research on existing clusters, existing value chains, existing actors, and existing policies, as it's usual in Interact projects to get an overview of everything that's here and that might be developed in the whole project. And then, which is also very interesting for you, I think, we developed together with the Swiss colleagues the so-called value chain generator, which is also a database available for stakeholders of the bio-based sector, but it's also a very interesting tool to try out and to generate value chains that have bio-based materials and that were developed after we switched from fossil-based material to bio-based. I, for my part, I am responsible for the demonstration of these outputs generated by this value chain generator, and we demonstrated several novel value chains in this regard. And on that basis, on the previous work packages, policy development output has been generated. So a kind of a roadmap is to be done, or is already done, has already been done. So sorry, that was too much. As I already said, we looked at 4 value chains, namely from wood, chemistry, food, pharma, packaging, and also agro. And we tried to develop especially cross-regional value chains, keeping in mind also transport distances and so on. So it was really difficult to do that, but we were quite successful in that case. So we also demonstrated not only 4 value chains, we even demonstrated 11 value chains. So we were very busy, although COVID-19 restricted our actions, and it was really difficult to get in contact with all stakeholders, but we were quite successful in the end. So one recommendation, and also with regard to the policy output we tried or we did in this regard, is the Alpine Space Policy Forum on the 16th of February. So if you want to join, you can do that, and you can get into contact with me, so I can link you to the responsible person. All right, so just to give you a small overview on the so-called biolinks that derived from our activities, especially with the value chain generator. So we focused on these four different sections, and and you can see the highlighted green biolinks that are the so-called that worked out best. So these were the piloting sessions on several value chains that really had a good outcome. And other value chains in this regard also were successful, but we generated most information in this regard on the green highlighted ones. So as you can see, it's a very complex, but also very innovative value chains we generated. And we also focused on residuals, as you already said, in your projects. For example, mushroom cultivation on brewer's grain substrates, which is very interesting. And we also made bread out of brewery's grain substrate, which is also a very good idea to use a very valuable raw material or side stream, to be precise. And we also focused on biorefinery products that are very, very interesting and will play an important role in the future. But this is a very complex topic which needs to be developed further. And we also tried to use to implement very innovative ideas. For example, the castor oil replacement by fatty residuals, which was also a very interesting project. And we also tried to use bird feathers for the production of a novel bio-based value chain. So unfortunately, I can't go more into detail in this regard, but feel free to contact us if you have further questions on these specific value chains. I want to give you some recommendations that we came across. First of all, the Alpine Space Policy Forum, to repeat it once again. And secondly, something that came up in the elaboration of these value chains, and also with connection to the whole circumstances in the framework of the pandemic. For example, we set up Microsoft Teams before the pandemic kicked in and before the first lockdown came in. So this really helped us to connect with each other and to stay in contact in the course of the elaboration of these new value chains. So I can recommend that to you in future projects. I also want to recommend that it's very important to narrow down the scope in order to do to be able to deliver quality project, quality piloting sessions, and to be able to have an overview that makes you work efficiently with your colleagues in the consortium. And for us in particular, it was really difficult to get familiar with the stakeholders, which we needed to develop our value chains, because we were used to physical meetings, and therefore we tried to get a healthy mixture and a healthy literally healthy mixture of physical and virtual meetings to proceed with our doings in the project. So, and you reminded me of the time. So I leave it like that, and thank you for having me, and please come back to me with further question in this regard. Thank you.
Dorian, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's such a pity, but it's always like this conference settings in the agenda is really packed. So I think you presented us a great overview on the project and what you did, and I think there are, especially for policy interested people, there are a lot of points on where they can connect. And so please, for all of you, take the invitation by Dorian and feel free to approach him. Okay. Then we have the second project. It's Casco. and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's Helena, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome also from my side. I'm really glad to be part of this interesting conference. Yeah, just do you see my screen? Just that.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Maybe you want to switch into presentation mode.
Yeah, okay, yes, perhaps I made a mistake. Hopefully it will work. Yes, now we are here.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks.
Okay, I heard we have to be short, so I would rather go with, how to say, with the most important thing that we did in our project. First of all, just for our starting point was that a lot of raw wood, we could say logs, are going out of our regions, and in one way or another they finish in other countries or they come back as semi-products. And through that we started the idea, you know, that we practically have very rare opportunity to have local value chains in local wood. And also our customers are not aware, speaking from the point of view of producer, they do not know if our products are really from local wood, because nobody really knows. So in our project, we took as example of a very good standard, also from here, from Germany, where in several regions are already have established cooperation between producers that have that are having the final products from sustainably maintained forests. And also in other countries, regions which were involved in the project, we started the same process. And I must say that the process is very demanding, but it's showing first results. And in the long run, hopefully, we will have the network of such beautiful regions with low carbon value chains, because in wood, and also what we add, and I forgot to tell, is that we also we are talking about low, how to say, no, it's wrong English, low traveling wood, meaning low carbon wood. It means that it travel, for example, maximum 100 kilometers. And the borders are not the limitation, but the kilometers that we use in traveling of the wood or semi-product before we have the final product. Additionally, just very shortly, I would like to say perhaps that we have a lot of, how to say, goal groups with whom we work, and it is important that we have, that we consider that not only public bodies, architects and SMEs are important, but also young and inhabitants. And what we also have seen that, of course, we have also the Smart Place Network, but what was important is that we also figure it out, the regional reward for low carbon wood products. And we got really very nice examples. So we have seen that we have a lot of innovation in production and also a lot of innovation with young. And I think that we have to cherish that and also to develop such approaches in the future. And what else we try to do is that we made some sort of recommendations also for policy level, especially for local communities and regions, how to use local wood more in their public procurements. And I think this is another big challenge that all Alpine Space regions are facing. And especially I would like to say, because of the climate change, we will have to take a big care for our local forests, that they will still remain. And also we have to take care that also inhabitants will stay in their villages and will take care about the wood, the forests. And I think that a big recipe for that is that we have products from low carbon local wood. Thank you. And feel free to ask me more. Thank you.
Okay, great. Definitely, I'm sure there will be questions later on. Thanks a lot for this short but interesting insight in your project. And finally, we have the third project, Go Danube Bio, by Christina, of course.
Hi.
Hi, Christina.
Hi. So
Please,
I
go
hope
ahead.
it works.
Yeah,
Do
all
you
fine.
see my screen
Yes.
perfectly? So then, yeah, welcome and hello everybody. My name is Christina and I'm project manager in the Upper Austrian Food Cluster, which belongs to Business Upper Austria. And we are project partner in AlpBioEco, but we're also part of Go Danube Bio, and so I will present it today. Go Danube Bio is a follow-up of another Interreg Danube project called Danube Walnut. And Danube Walnut was about cross-clustering partnership for boosting eco-innovation by developing a joint bio-based value-added network for the Danube region. And in this Forerunner project, we were 15 partners and 2 associated partners from 10 Danube countries. And it ran lasted from January 2017 until June 2019. And we had a budget from 2.3 million euro. And in frame of Danube Walnut, we had a closer look into 3 different value chains. We worked with phytopharma, with bio-based packaging, and with eco-construction. And the aim was to develop methods and new tools to connect enterprises that work with these value chains, and to connect them especially transnationally. And during the project, we had a lot of really good outcomes, but especially, we developed a joint industry cluster policy strategy, and we developed new cluster services for SMEs because we were a lot of clusters, and so we tried to develop new services that we can offer the enterprises. But now, coming to Go Danube Bio, this project started last year in July, and so we are at the beginning, I would say, and it contributes to 2 different priority areas of the EU strategy for the Danube region. We are working about the competitiveness of enterprises and also the institutional capacity and cooperation. We are now 19 project partners and 7 associated partners from, again, 10 Danube countries, and approximately 70% are from clusters or business development agencies, and the consortium is really similar to the Forerunner project. The aim of Go Danube Bio is, on the one hand, to enhance the socio-economic status of the regions, but also to contribute to environmental, climate, and resource protection. And we would like to foster the development of rural areas, so that's long-term aims. But we would like to contribute to the reduction of rural exodus, which is a really, I would say, the main contribution of Go Danube Bio, because more and more the rural areas have the problems that young people, especially young people, are moving away, And so it is getting more important to find ways to that the people stick, I would say, in the rural areas. Yeah, what we are also contributing to is the improvement of institutional capacities, and we would like to strengthen rural-urban cooperation. Yeah, so to go or to reach these aims, we are using bioeconomy as a tool on the one hand, and also participative multi-level governance concepts. So to also include all stages of people, not only the decision maker, but also people in the rural areas. And as we are at the beginning of the project, we have not so much results until now, but yeah, so we now worked on the analysis of the bioeconomy framework conditions. And yeah, we capitalized until now existing results. We had a look how results from other, for example, EU-funded projects were used in our regions. And we also had a look at the governance structures in our regions. And coming to an end, we have, or I have two recommendations. The first one is we think that it is really necessary to have an integrated urban-rural cooperation. And what I can recommend with my experience in EU-funded project, it is really important to look for the right partners or stakeholders in a project to really bring added value to your project. And a call to action, we will have our kickoff conference in March this year. It will be a hybrid yeah, event, and we postpone it until March because of the pandemic. And next year we will also be in charge of workshops and trainings about participative governance and bioeconomy. And so I would like to invite you and get in contact with me if you're interested. And thank you.